tuning back in. And we got Cisco here.
Hey,
What's
what's
up?
up?
What's up? So we got a couple topics that we wanted to run down with you guys, talk about them because we have been doing a lot of digging, a lot of research on the back end, and we've been looking at some things. Ain't that right, Cisco?
Right, right.
We've been peeping everything. um First topic I wanted to discuss is Herman Cowboy Douglas, because I think that's kind of the beginning of this list I have here, and his next court date being February 6th of 2020. That's close to Homeboy's trial. Um Shitty cuz.
Right.
Um what you think about that, Cisco?
Um, it's interesting how that bail went up, and we still need to verify the charges. So I'm not even gonna speak on what the alleged charges are, and I don't know if stuff got scrubbed or what, but I swore I saw it at one time, but we was looking for it last night and couldn't find it. So that's gonna be interesting. That we already talked about that, how on a lot of these people that are involved in the case are getting swooped up, getting sick, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's interesting.
That's very interesting. So the next thing that I looked into was the fact that Firebugg did an interview
Right, without profit.
with Al Prophet. Yeah, that was a decent interview. He opened up about March 31st, opened up about March 30th, which was the day before. How did you feel about that? Because I felt a certain type of way, but I'll wait till you finish.
I really enjoyed the interview. In fact, I watched it at least 5 times.
Okay.
Especially when I saw how other people in the YouTube streets was trying to um, spin it in a way that fit their viewpoint. But uh, I enjoyed the interview. I think it was. I think he was sincere. I think
Mhm.
the interviewer asked really good questions. He let him flow. You know what I mean? And much respect. From I don't know the man, but I just have to say much respect to Firebug. I hope he stays out of prison and lives a positive life.
Okay.
Um, you can go on and keep on going on this subject if we want to get into the spin the spin zone.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that it is pretty decent. And as far as Shitty Cuz next court date, it is February 19th, 2020. But as far as Firebug, I think that interview was very informative. I think he, like you said, laid out some lines for people, and people love to cross lines. It's the way of the world nowadays. So, I think that what you said is right. I feel similar to that. I really do. I think it was a decent interview.
Right. I just want to clarify in 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 his behalf, without going in too much detail of how what he said is kind of gotten spun in a certain way. Um, if you listen and take Firebug's word for what they were, he never insinuated that uh, Nipsey killed his homie. In fact, he had to be taken back to the scenario in reference to the song when Nipsey, told him that the song, the Bullets Have No Names, was about the situation between him. So I think if you listen to the interview, it's pretty clear um, that Nipsey had to take him back to that moment, and he didn't actually remember, and he was like, "Yeah, man," and I can actually verify personally that, especially because I'm from more back in the '80s. If you was in the streets in LA, stuff happens so fast and so often that and then think about the simple fact that Firebugg was just got out of jail for, I think, like a 12-year bid. There's a no time in that interview that he uh, insinuated that or even said that Nipsey killed his homie. And there's other evidence out there. If a person wants to look, it's clear that that's not the case.
Yeah, I don't know why people would spin that and put that on Firebug to even come out his mouth. Like that could get, misconstrued in the wrong neighborhood. It is LA. So we want to make sure that that is not
Plus,
floating around here with nobody checking
yeah.
that.
Plus the street. That's the thing about people that talk. The streets know what's up anyway. But I mean,
Hmm.
for those other people that's just listening and don't know, don't fall into that. That's not correct information.
Well, another thing that seemed to be a little error message that gave me a error warning was Pacman, and this may have came before Firebugg's interview, so I do apologize, y'all. But Pacman, and he had a tweet that was shown, and it seemed like that kind of got misconstrued because it was posted on March 31st, or was it March 30th? Late at night, March 30th, early morning, March 31st. And it said something to the effect of pray for my people or pray for my family.
If you
And from
yeah,
uh
if you going to church, pray for yeah.
yeah. So that was very interesting.
Right, and it was also taken out of context because of the person's reply, but the reply was after the assassination of Nipsey around 8 p.m. And that was, you know,
And
maybe
from what I heard
conveniently.
on the back end is that his people, I don't know if it was girlfriend, wife, I'm not sure, suffered from uh miscarriage.
Mm, okay.
I hate
Yeah.
to put it out there to you all. That's none of our business, but
And the replies, like I said, was at 8 at night. But you know, the people that's trying to change, switch it up and drive a narrative that would be like one of the biggest, hugest hood conspiracies ever known to man. They didn't show the timestamp of the reply.
correct, correct. So we won't
Which
linger
would
on that. We won't
right.
linger on that because I already dropped a big bomb on them. That's none of our business. This is personal family stuff. People got other things going on if they were surrounded by Nipsey other than Nipsey. So he could have had a family emergency. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. So then we get into Pac-Man's jewelry.
Right.
There was
Which
a
is
post that was posted on Instagram. I just want to give a quick backstory real quick. Post posted on Instagram. He said he's doing a giveaway. Somebody can win one of his pieces of jewelry. And from what I understand, people took that and thought that that was Nipsey Hussle's jewelry.
yeah, and it's not, and it's clearly not Nipsey Hussle's jewelry. It's you know, like I said, man, it's sad that people are just jumping on any little thing and running with it without verifying anything. But that's Pac-Man's jewelry. That's not Nipsey's jewelry.
And what you say in the last video? You say, is this a protest or a hotest?
For real. And reason why reason why I say, is it a protest or a hotel? Are you protesting for Nipsey, or is it a hotest? Are you selling ass for views, likes, cash apps, Patreon, etc., etc.?
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know. Anyway, so the next topic, because this one seemed to be, real hot. This one getting hot and spicy. Okay, we have legendary, because he is, when he acted that role out in Training Day, that man did his job, and I'll never
And
forget him.
and and I just want to interrupt you real shortly. Not only
Mhm.
Training Day, but he created one of the dopest documentaries called Bastards of the Party, which
I gotta.
explains how United Slaves and Black Panther parties evolved into the Crips and Bloods.
Okay, I gotta watch that. That sounds like a real good watch
Oh
tonight.
man, it's dope.
Okay, and run that name by me again, because people may have forgot.
Bastards of the Party.
Okay,
Bastards of the Party. How the Black Panthers, the destruction of the Black Panthers, was the beginning of the evolution of the Crips and Bloods, and how it was, community oriented and just spun out of control.
dang, that's a good look. It came right up. So Claybone Sloan. What's his real
Right.
name?
Claybone Sloan.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought you had something else too. I thought it
Oh,
was like,
I think he's on the credits. Clay Shaheed Bone Sloan. Sometimes that he goes by
okay.
from
So
from Athens from Athens Park. He's from Athens Park, a blood gang in L.A.
yeah, the one that was up in that Trader Day, Joe, the jungle. That's my dog right there in my head. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what's going on, and I really don't like it personally. That's why I let people know ahead of time, especially if I'm doing an interview, to let me record them. You know what I'm saying? But people are starting to get into this little trend of recording people when they're not knowing it.
Yeah, I was tripping on those audio recordings.
Yeah, so some audio recordings came out. Claybone Sloan pretty much said, man, forget that Buster Whack 100. And I'm just putting it, you can find the recordings. It's all over YouTube. And for whoever recorded that, man, go play in traffic. You know, he was having a real conversation, a genuine conversation, and that's whack. And he pretty much laid it down on Whack 100. So you could pretty much tell them what he said because it's a lot of lingo from LA. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I really don't want to reiterate exactly everything that he. Well, I just on the topics. The main topic is that
Mm-hmm.
basically, according to Clay Bone Sloan, that Big U is the puppet master for Whack 100. And I'm just using a better way of saying what he said, because he said it a little bit more graphic. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying, if that's really true, it's really ironic considering all the antics we've seen from Whack 100, from going at Tupac and then to going at Nipsey Hussle. And that's very, very, very interesting and very, very telling, because also Whack 100 is the manager for Blueface, who's from the Schoolyard Crips, which, uh, although some people challenge that, which is one of the rivals to the '60s. So if that's true, that's another one of those quirky. weird moments, like when Big U was supporting Molly Mall, and that's weird. And then the picture with Haitian Jack,
Now it's
and now and
it, yeah.
now allegedly, according to Clay Bone, who's pretty much a 100 in the streets. His word is pretty much 100.
So it's
Saying that
weird.
Whack 100 is being manipulated by Big U.
Yep. So it's pretty weird that Big U endorses Wack 100 when Wack 100 has so much foul stuff to say about Nipsey and stuff like that. Like that's crazy. And to hear that
Exactly.
coming from a real authentic dude on the streets mouth that they really are linked, you know what I'm saying? That's that's another tab on my list, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm
Yeah.
So, yeah, but the interesting thing is that Whack 100, in response to Claiborne Sloan, post this article about the Suge Knight incident, where Claiborne Sloan pretty much got up on the stand and said nothing.
Right. So this is another, the way Whack 100. See, he's old enough to know that a lot of people on social media are just not. They don't know everything. They don't know. So I think it's like a manipulation type of thing, because you post a news article for your evidence. Well, who controls the news? That's not paperwork. That's not paperwork to confirm that somebody snitched. That's not how it works. You can't just use no newspaper article and that's paperwork. Oh, this nigga is a snitch. He told on, and he didn't do that. And I don't want to shout out that platform, but there's a video out there with Trey D, who basically says that Claiborne Sloan did the right thing by not pointing. That's just how it works in the streets. He wasn't gonna talk, and that's
Yeah.
how everybody moves. And actually, not only Trey D, you got I think BG Knockout talked about it as well. So I look at that as a real weak ass response to those recordings. But at the same time, why do we keep hearing these recordings, man? That shit is weird. I mean, I don't know if that was a Claybone was under doing a podcast, or he's in an interview and somebody had their phone, or somebody's really recording this conversation without him knowing. That's some weirdo shit right there.
Well, it keeps happening. And like I said, if it's a trend, you know, we gotta do better. We gotta do better. Well, we kind of caught y'all up,
I just
just
want to
like,
clarify one thing. Claybone is from Athens Park. Athens Park isn't in the jungles. Just for anybody that might have got confused, she was referring to the jungles from the movie
yeah,
Training Day.
yes, that's my movie. My bad, y'all. My bad. But I'm going to look at some more stuff because everyday stuff is coming out, and we are on top of things. We see things very clearly for what it is, like we told you all from the beginning. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in. Me and Cisco will be back with more.